Today's AskReddit post. What would you be doing right now if you didn't follow your moral compass? Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one. Let's get started. Writing straight up lies on my resume as I look for new jobs. Just show up at your dream job and pretend you've been there for months. No joke, my dad got fired at Sam's Club and just went to another one and told him he got transferred and they believed him. I'm writing this one down. I see your Sam's Club material. Little fraud. Following proper precautions, I imagine it's very lucrative and pretty difficult to get caught when performing credit card fraud. But I can't imagine living with myself when stealing from regular people just like me. The key to being a criminal, specifically when it comes to fraud or theft, is knowing when to quit. I love reading about criminals that get away with things for years and then get lazy and then get caught. Need to know when to go straight. Pigs get fed. Hogs get slaughtered. That's what my accountant says. Hahaha. My accountant says pay taxes or you'll get caught. Telling certain patients to duck off. I want to take care of people. I don't want to be talked down to, yelled at, threatened, lied to for drugs, or so many other stupid things, all while smiling and biting my tongue. As a teacher, is also be telling some people, mostly parents, but sometimes students, to duck off. There are students who do things that annoy me, or others, without realizing that what they're doing is a problem. It can get tiresome, but that's part of being a teacher, is pointing that out and helping them learn. But there are also kids who do things on purpose just to annoy me, derail class, bug their classmates. I tell them to duck off. As a teenager, teachers need a lot more respect. Seeing how stupidly other kids treat the teachers, let alone parents. I had a history class where the teacher needed to give an hour-long speech on impulse control to 8th graders, which changed nothing. Unless you are actively mean to your students, you have my respect. Also, please take the effort to grade tests. As a student, test scores help me study for finals. I don't want to tell you how to do your job, but I needed to get that off my chest before the semester starts. Yeah, I'm kind of the same. When the teacher is nice and the kids take advantage of her niceness, it pisses me off, but if the teacher deserves it, they deserve it. Honestly, a part of it comes down to the students as well. If you can see it, you can fight it. One thing I don't regret doing in my last school year was to shush those loud moffers. They start fighting with me and then weigh themselves down. By far the most effective thing I've ever seen was the two clowns doing their bit and then the rest of the class just doing a SSSSSSSSHHH sound like a choir. Can't fight the whole class. Well, at this moment in time I'd be doing the exact same thing. Staying up until 1 AM on Reddit. Simple yet self-destructive. Those are some rookie number, my friend. 3:49 AM here. Me at 7. Y'all are weak. It's ducking 10 AM here. Pulling an all-nighter again. I got 25 AM on my clock. I can't say exactly, but it starts with S and ends with L-ing drugs. Right, single quotation mark. Oh, you're stopping people from selling drugs. How good and law-abiding of you. Everybody loves a good vigilante, unless he belongs to the Nolan trilogy. In that case, duck that vigilante. Probably still waiting for my food at this restaurant. Edit. The food arrived and was fantastic as always. Edit 2. Want to clarify, I wasn't complaining about the wait. We had basically just gotten there when I commented LOL. 32 minutes now. Have you received it yet? Don't leave us hanging. Edit. Typo. I'd be in a car driving away from my kids, leaving my sick wife to deal with the two little lunatics. I'm so exhausted, I just want to sleep for 12 hours and not have to break up constant fights, screaming, crying about nothing. Bro, you alright? Not particularly, but there is nothing in the world money, friends or anything can do. This is one of those situations where you just need to bite down and ducking deal. I need to be there for my kids while my wife gets better. Hopefully I don't lose my job because I can't send them to daycare right now because testing is such a joke. The kids were up from 4 AM till 11:30 PM last night with no break really. My wife is on doctor's orders to not interact with them. The basement flooded. A tornado rolled through town. At least today they are asleep by 9 PM. Oh, I have to go clean literal shit off a bunch of maybe COVID-19 contaminated shit from a bunch stuff in the basement right now and I'm high risk. I want to hug you so much right now. I'm so sorry. Totes skim read that and thought you said, I want to hug you so much right now. I'm so horny. And I was like, what? Follow my pleasure instincts. Eat. Duck. Give in to anger and probably murder. Duck. It's not my moral compass that is preventing me from that. I'd be married to a guy who owned his own airplane courier company. He was boring as duck. But he was rich and into me. I could have used him for his money but it just didn't feel right. I often think how my life might be different if I married the sugar mama I was dating. Packing for school. My dad tested positive for COVID this morning. And although I haven't been in close contact, he just got home from vacation. I have to get tested and it's recommended I quarantine 2 weeks regardless of the result. My college move-in day was supposed to be Saturday. I've been stuck at home for so long. Haven't seen my boyfriend in months. I was so ready to go and this setback has me losing my mind. But my moral compass is telling me I shouldn't put people at risk even if there's only a small chance of a false negative. I'm expecting to be negative. I wish everyone else actually took quarantine seriously. Oh, that's rough. I really hope you don't get it too. Absolutely wrecking some 12-year-old's Minecraft world. Probably joining the neighbor and ducking his wife while Doom soundtracks are blasting in the background instead of listening to it from the neighborhood while smoking. Open your hell's gates, woman. Puts on condom with malicious intent. Getting laid. Since I do have a moral compass though, I'm sticking it out in my dead bedroom relationship. Hoping that one day, when he's not so stressed out from work, he might actually notice me. Is it possible that he feels the same way about you? It's hard to get excited about sex when you think your partner isn't interested. Obviously it's scary to put yourself out there and be sexual when he is stressed out, but you might be surprised how much he appreciates it. Believe me, I've tried. It's pretty embarrassing to get rejected over and over again by the man who is supposed to be into you. A bit of honesty here. This is how my wife describes much of our relationship. She said she was trying. But from my perspective it was once every blue moon. I thought I was putting it out there, but she says I wasn't. Turns out we've had a pretty serious communication issue for a long time. We both wanted to shag the living daylights out of each other, but felt like the other didn't because we weren't talking the same language and because of histories we didn't realize. Now we're at a point I'm getting help, but she's saying I tried for years. I've just switched that part of me off. So here's me trying to get us into some help and save it because now I know what's been going on. My approach has changed just living in Rejectionville, USA. But she's got the walls up. Take him to go get some help with you before you get to where we are. Or just try straddling him naked. That worked for me. Just cheese only be close to that obvious maybe once or twice a year. I hope things work out for you guys. It's really good that you've figured out the problem and are working on it. Exactly the same. Even if I didn't have a moral compass, I'd still have a brain and sense of self-preservation, which means anything that I'd be more willing to do I still wouldn't due to the consequences. But I've long since pondered if there is such thing as morals. What we consider moral has changed over time. Many times, it's all social constrictions and consequences. And we do have people who do things they shouldn't, but mostly because they feel they can, and for the most part do, get away with it. But if we had no social guidelines, people would give in to their id and do things we consider immoral. Look at something as simple as slavery. It was perfectly acceptable and not considered immoral before. And it was normal. If you are one to argue we have an internal compass that makes us magically know what is good or bad, then that situation would have never come about. Not to the degree or normalcy it did. So yeah, morals are a social construct that change over time. Who knows what we will consider moral or immoral 10, 30 or 100 years from now. Morals are a social construct that change over time. I think you answered your own question with this statement. Morals do exist, but perhaps they exist as a social construct. We humans only really survive this long because we're social creatures, and while the level of sociability can vary from one person culture to the next, cooperation and reciprocity play a large role in our success as a species. Morals, I think, are an extension of this. In order for us to all cooperate and make our society function in a peaceful and fruitful way, there are some things we can't do. You aren't cooperating with people in your own tribe if you're bashing them over the head. Carl. That being said, morality is a messy and complicated thing. You get into subjects such as risk versus benefit. For instance, in human research, objectivity versus subjectivity, culpability, all kinds of shit. That's why it's so heavily philosophized. The only reason why Canadian geese have not taken over is because they have no concept of morals or ethics and thus cannot advance as a species. This made me think a moral compass has close to zero effect on my moderate actions, which are mostly conditioned by shallowness, apathy, fear and social stupidity. I'm not doing anything significantly unethical not because I'm good, but because I'm dull. You'd be surprised. There are many small things in someone's day-to-day life that are affected by moral code, from making a mean comment online to deciding not to stuff yourself with ice cream. There are plenty of things you do, and don't, in your day-to-day life that betray and hint at the kind of person you think you should be. Stuffing myself with ice cream is more about self-preservation than morals. Selling pics online. Your girl needs money. Congratulations. You've now pulled dozens of horny people that want to know why you choose to not sell nudes, implying it wasn't on purpose. It wasn't. I regret my comment lol. At least now you know what you're missing out on. Grinning face with squinting eyes and sweat drop. Realistically, due to my poor impulse control and my hypersexuality thanks to my borderline personality disorder and PTSD, I'd probably rob as many places as possible, have sex with prostitutes, go back to being an ecstasy addict and hunt down and kill old friends and family who have broken my heart. I'd be a lawyer. Not giving up my life in my city to help my mother have a comfortable hospice in her home. Living like I'm just here for myself. You are brave and kind. And that is a true gift not only for your mother, but for yourself too. I hope and wish you are fine and can make an enjoyable life for yourself. Just not give a duck about anyone and stop being nice. If you're stupid I'll punch you. Modern medicine has gone too far. If natural selection don't cut it anymore, I will. I say the biggest problem with society today is we made a good bop to the nose something to be shunned. If more people knew that by acting a certain way they may end up on the bopped end of a bop to the nose, people would be much more polite. But then the people who are good at bopping people in the nose can take advantage of the people who aren't good at bopping people in the nose. It'd just be middle school bullies everywhere. I would be pooping on the lawn of my neighbor who has a Trump flag. Alas, my moral compass won't let me. I'd shit on my neighbor's car who parks in front of our house and is super rude snarky to us. Park in front of your own house, douche. Also duck you. We want our yard like this. Dead. I'd be really dead. Same. 100%. Call Landers a boring old biddy. You are more animal than man. Pillaging, I guess. Probably still living at home with my Catholic parents. Instead I'm happily living with my transgender girlfriend and sleeping in the same bed while unmarried. The horror. If I had listened to the moral compass I grew up with, I'd still be miserable to the point of considering suicide. Yeah, but there's a difference between listening to the morals prescribed to you and your own internal morals. Obviously your morals were different. Sounds to me like you did follow your moral compass. Cutting drugs. I know some drug dealers and one of them offered me a job cutting, measuring and packing cocaine and heroin, but I turned it down. I would either have to cut it at their place, which is always at risk of being busted while I'm there, or at my place, which I just refuse to do. I have cats. I'm not risking them licking some of that shit up. It's just not worth the risk. And also I don't really want to have a hand in someone else's addiction. I don't do drugs or even drink. Because I grew up with a heroin addicted mother. I don't want to do that to someone else's kid. Till that cats can be useful. Ha, that guy seems to get new cats a lot. Masturbating. Buddy, have I got some news for you. I don't know about you, but I don't think it's moral to spank it in front of kids. God bless. Ha, he destroyed you, bud. Probably kill myself, to be honest. Every day feels the same as the last. I don't feel much anymore unless I do something risky, and I have no idea what I want to do with my life. I don't want to leave my girlfriend and parents like that though, so I haven't done it. I don't think I've been able to feel true happiness since I was a kid. I'm here with you, fam. I hope you can find something to make you happy again. I wouldn't wish this feeling on anyone. Colon. Probably just rip my sister a new arsehole, verbally for the most part, unless she gets violent, which she tends to do. She is racist, LGBT-phobic, I'm out as pansexual, and has stolen from my mum probably about 28 times and my somehow still lets her back. Sounds like there are no moral obligations preventing you from verbally correcting her behavior. Having an affair. My wife is pregnant, so I haven't been getting any sex lately, and she's out of town all week, so I could. But my dad had this same thought and it ruined my childhood and destroyed my family, so I won't. Not worth the emotional turmoil, especially since she's carrying your child. Fucking a married man. What if you already have and were simply unaware? Get me a sugar daddy. Radical environmental terrorism. That's not exactly a moral compass. It's more like a fear of getting caught compass. Maybe be balls deep in one of my co-workers. Sleeping with a married man. My mom's been sleeping with a married man for years. He's my dad. A ripping and a tearing. Cracking onto a married guy I know. Not that anyone will see this, but I just need to tell anybody. I'd be leaving my family to deal with my father's death so that I can go and be in my own home, by myself, and completely switch off and actually grieve. But they need me. An 8-ball and a case of champagne with a couple of hookers in Tahoe. If you ever decide to abandon your moral compass, then hit me up, dude. This sounds awesome. My partner and I are both darting today, so no booze or treats. If I had no moral compass, I would be drinking and eating whatever I wanted in form of them and ignoring their complaints. You're a good partner. Thanks on behalf of someone who wouldn't have the support. It really would mean the world. Sucks. Big time. But should be appreciated. Probably ducking the shit out of a bunch of blue-haired, sexually frustrated 20-year-olds. I love that there is such a specific hair color as a part of your scenario. Okay, Reddit. I can go to bed now. This is great. Looking for the nearest attractive person to have sex with. Also burglary. Doing drugs and hooking up with each and every Tom and Mary. Probably in prison servicing my boyfriend Genghis. Genghis Khan? Heck of a boyfriend. Genghis Khan is everybody's boyfriend. Bro, you actually watched the whole video. I'd give you a high five if I was a human. Make sure to click the like button and subscribe for more great content. See you next time.